What's up? What's up?
We are live now. Few seconds late.
What's up?
What up?
We're live on air, people.
Charlamagne, we live?
We are live. Good Saturday to everyone out there watching.
Yeah, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
We got JBM in the house. Imani's in the house.
Give people a couple seconds to get on in here.
Oh, was that feedback? I just realized I had that. That wasn't muted.
We didn't hear it on our end.
Oh, you know what? It's coming through my headphones, so I didn't think about that. But yeah, I was hoping it didn't pick up on the microphone because that would have been crazy. You could hear all types of feedback. Yeah, how's y'all weekends going?
It's hot.
It is hot.
It is hot.
We had a thunderstorm.
Yeah, and I drove through that thunderstorm all the way down to Charlotte.
That's commitment.
Yeah.
You in Charlotte right now?
Yeah, I'm in Charlotte.
Live,
right now.
broadcasting live from Charlotte.
from the pink room. I'm in the pink room.
In the pink room. Oh, is that the room?
This is the room.
Hey man, tell us that story.
Hey.
While we open,
hey.
wait for people to.
While we wait. Long story short, I woke up and saw a ghost in this room. 5 in the morning.
What time?
5.
5 in the morning. How did that happen? Tell us how it went down.
So I'm asleep peacefully, and then I wake up, boom, ghost right there staring at the wall.
He was staring at the wall?
Staring at the wall on some crazy stuff. He was in a house coat, short hair, looked like an old woman or something. The stature of like an old woman.
That's insane.
It is. So I don't sleep in this room anymore. I'm only in here now because it's still daylight out there.
All right. Well, I would be remiss to start this without saying we got to give a shout out and to Reverend C.T. Vivian and Representative John Lewis, who yesterday passed away.
Absolutely.
2 legends, civil rights icons.
Yes.
Yeah, R.I.P. to them.
Whose, their actions directly allowed us to do what we're doing right now. So, we've definitely got to shout them out for everything that they did, all the good trouble that they started.
Absolutely. Yes. Make some good trouble tonight.
And let's keep making good trouble.
Always got to keep making good trouble.
Yeah.
As long as there's good trouble to be made, we got to keep making it.
Absolutely.
Also, on a lighter note, shout out to Lou. Once again, his birthday was this past Monday. We didn't shout him out Sunday before, but we're shouting him out now.
Happy B-Day, Lou.
Happy B-Day. He'll probably hop on here in a moment.
Yeah, we'll give him a few more minutes.
Cool.
For sure.
We got to know who your hero for 2020 is.
And you're going to find out when we get to it, man. We're going to find out. And I guarantee y'all won't be able to guess who my pick is.
I bet.
Promise. I promise.
I know you dug deep in sci-fi somewhere. I'm sure it's something nobody's thinking of.
It's possible. No one said it. I know. I'll say that. No one has said it in the Discord.
I have a second one. I still stand by my first answer, which I shared in the Discord, and I'll give it up for the moment. But my other answer is deserving.
Is what? Say that again. Or you didn't say it.
I haven't said the second one yet. I don't know if anybody mentioned it in the Discord now that I think about it.
And then my
dad mentioned it to me though.
Our Gemini friend over here is keep switching.
Yeah.
He's giving 2 at least.
And I'm like, hold up. Doctor Strange wouldn't fix this timeline.
No.
If he was to fix it, it would be an alternate timeline. So I was like, nah, I can't do Doctor Strange.
Well, I'll give my other answer. So the answer
wait. Let's get to it. Hold on. Hold your horses.
Okay.
So, all right. So, what y'all want to start with the Boys 2 trailer review? Did y'all saw that? Because I watched it again today.
I watched it again, but I don't know if there's too much to review besides the fact that I'm excited because they didn't give us much in the trailer.
Yeah, like what are your hopes? What are your anticipations for this upcoming season 2? What do you think of the first season? As a matter of fact, both of you.
First season, I absolutely loved. I'd never thought of superheroes like that. I'd never even considered what superheroes would look like if they existed in our time. And I think what The Boys is absolutely correct. They're going to be managed like celebrities. Social media is going to hold a huge factor as to how they operate. They're going to be drugged out. Maniacs, and they're not going to be good people. I mean, we want them to be good people, but if they're controlled by humans, unfortunately, they won't have the opportunity to. Right. That was crazy, especially just Homelander is a problem. And then also, well,
major.
I can't even call them, they are supers, but they're not born, they're made. And I think that's the biggest difference. If you think about Homelander, he didn't have the opportunity to, grow up normal. He was raised in a cage, for lack of a better term, in a hospital, in a lab.
Rats.
Yeah. So he doesn't understand empathy. He doesn't know how to love because he was never truly loved. And he's supposed to be saving lives. So
I'm interested to see his art. I wonder how they're gonna.
Yeah, because he's the catalyst in the whole thing for sure.
And then with the way the first season ended, it's clear that even though he doesn't know how to love and he's never experienced affection, he wants to. He wants a family, and now he thinks that he can have one. But I think he's going to learn the hard way that things aren't always in his control.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I think that a lot of the supers, like it's crazy how I won't say it's crazy, but I like how they've created these backstories and all of these psychological issues for these supers or enhanced humans, as they, or more accurately should be known as. Because for one, The Boys wasn't something I was aware of. I didn't know that. I think they have it's based off a graphic novel or a comic book series.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what I was watching when I first started watching it. And like, it is an alternate take on a superhero for sure. That first season was a great ride. I enjoyed every single episode because I was like, they kept adding layers to these characters. And I think from the jump when the speedster ran through that girl, the girlfriend, I was like, all right, I have no idea. I think that's what hooked me, because it was like, what is this?
Nobody is ready.
I was about to turn off the show up until that moment. I was like, as soon as that happened, I'm like, whoa.
Welcome, Raheem.
What's good?
What up?
Also,
Boys 2 right now, Boys season 2.
I appreciated how they mocked superhero characters that we already know, like the Deep being a take on Aquaman, and also Homelander being a take on Superman, and how they contrast the two. I just can't help but go back to Homelander. He is nuts, and it's bad to say, but he's also my favorite. Like I want to see like what he's going to become. Also, as we saw in the last season, like not only are they creating supers for good, but they're creating them for bad too.
Yeah.
Like there are super terrorists or terrorists who have access,
and they're all that was a wild thing.
So
spoilers.
Sorry if y'all haven't seen The Boys this time.
Spoilers.
But so not only are the heroes dealing with their own internal problems, but they're gonna actually need to be heroes. Like this season was all about problems within themselves, but now there's a chance that there's going to be problems on the outside too. And on top of what they're going through, they need to deal with that. So that's going to be dope to see.
I don't think Homelander is going to be a hero. I think the other heroes can figure it out, but
he's definitely not the hero.
Like I don't see.
Like,
I think
he's behind them making those villain soups.
Yeah, he's the rogue element in all this for me.
Yeah. I enjoy watching it.
Lou.
Oh,
the gang is back.
We in here.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second. What's going on? Where we at? Oh, I forgot to put the little banner up. Ain't that crazy? We all here. What's going on, man? How was your birthday? Shout out to you. Happy belated birthday once again. We're gonna say it live on air.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy belated.
Good times. All things considered. Talked to a lot of people, hung out, did stuff. Got some cool news on something I got coming up on my birthday. So yeah, all together.
Oh, word. Can you announce what that is, or are you gonna hold off?
I gotta hold till I'm through my first round of edits.
All right. Well, it's something he has to edit.
Next time, folks.
So, absolutely. All right.
About the boys.
Interesting show.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on season 1 and what your anticipations are for season 2?
It's super weird because I'm like, season 1 ended in a place where I'm like cool with season 2, but like I'm also pretty cool off where season 1 did because it made some very strong points where I'm like, yo, I am with this take on the genre. It definitely had me taken from the first episode when old buddy's fiance became a pair of hands.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a good watch. And it was cool enough where it was like, oh, I don't need to go run and look at the source material because this thing is doing right now is something I'm banging with.
Right. Heck yeah. All right, guys. Oh, Imani?
I was just going to say that usually with stuff like this, I do want to look at the source and I want to find out what's canon and what's not. But I don't think I want to ruin this because so far there's nothing that I'm unhappy with. So if they are going away from it, I don't want to know because I'm happy with this just how it is right now.
As long as they don't pull a Game of Thrones season finale, I'm good.
Please don't.
I never jumped in.
Hey, you know, as a matter of fact, I should have said that was my horror pick for on the last episode was the season finale of Game of Thrones. That was the most frightening thing I've ever seen in my life.
I wouldn't call it frightening, but I would say it's a strong disappointment.
That was horror.
The group chat was
when we talk about like subgenres of horror, I categorize how they destroyed that whole show in one season as horror.
I can't argue with that. We should have added that particular episode, not the last episode, but the actual battle scene with the Night King. That should have been added to our horror conversation because that was.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, right there.
That.
Oh, is that the one where dude
couldn't see nothing?
Yeah, it was just darkness and just thrilling and just danger.
I was reaching out to people that night, like, yo, I can't. My TV, something's wrong. I gotta catch this show again later.
It wasn't the TV.
Bad lighting thing.
Uh-oh, hold on.
I still appreciate that. There were a lot of people complaining that it was dark, but I liked it.
Opposite.
That battle?
Yeah, you couldn't see what was happening. It made it scarier.
The whole show was like built up to that battle, and then we couldn't see it.
My only complaint was I felt like we've been watching the show for all these seasons. It should have had 2 episodes. The fact that it was handled in 1 episode, I didn't like that. They could have made 2. The whole season could have been 2 seasons, if we're being honest.
That whole season should have been rewritten.
Stretched it out to it at least two seasons.
Yeah. That whole season should have been rewritten and written better than what it was, and it could have been 1 season if they did what they were supposed to do. All right, let's get into this.
8 seasons, so like that's like 3 seasons longer than anything ever on HBO.
True. All right, let's get into this Watchmen season 1, well, miniseries because it's not going to be a continuation, but a miniseries on HBO. What are because we didn't really get to talk about this. We weren't live on air when this debuted, but what's everyone's thoughts on the Watchmen series on HBO?
I had never I had never read the comics, but I had seen the film and I loved it. And I was really excited for the show. And the show was not at all what I was expecting. I was completely surprised. I only had the film to compare it to. So its takes on race, just dealing with Lady Knight and all that I was not expecting any of it. It was great.
Yeah, I agree that the Tulsa backstory was what surprised me. I mean, and even for them to open up with that was like that set the internet on fire, because
probably the best opening to a show I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I was, what for me, I was shocked at how many people didn't know about the Tulsa massacre. More so than it being opening, even though that was like the opening of the show, I was shocked by how many people had no idea that even happened.
I didn't know till college, and that was only because everybody was black. So
yeah, I learned about it in college. I'm not surprised that people didn't know about it. I knew about it, but watching it on TV does make it feel a little different, because I did feel, as far as how horrific it was, the depiction was pretty accurate. Just it made me feel something. I've read about it, I've seen pictures, but watching it happen on TV made me feel a lot different. So as someone who already knew about it, I appreciated it. And I haven't watched it again, but I kind of want to.
I was surprised by the outcry being big enough where the city of Tulsa was like, oh, monument to the fact that this thing happened because we saw it on an HBO show. I was like, influence of fiction, crazy. That's why it's important.
Yeah. Hey, so Lou, do you know the backstory of the Watchmen and its connection? Because I believe it's connected to the DC universe, right?
Yeah, it was. So Watchmen was a 12-issue maxi series, and the Watchmen was an out-of-universe thing. Only recently, within the last couple of years, have they started bringing Watchmen characters into the mainstream DCU. But it's considered one of those. The collection is considered one of those must-read graphic novels. Didn't like the Zack Snyder movie. There was this period where I was really, really into the Watchmen comic book, because it's like you have to read comics to get all the things they're doing in Watchmen. And then I got older and became kind of disillusioned and was like, okay, if you need to be an expert in this thing for this thing to hit, it's not going to hit the same. So I was like, but I'm like all in on that series. They did the very cool balance thing where it's like it's as canonical as possible, where they don't break the canon of the graphic novel. There's a couple of places where you could argue they did, but it's never a definitive break. And they brought it into present. I think what's also really cool about the Watchmen TV shows is like Alan Moore's British, so it's sort of like this Judge Dredd type thing where like the original graphic novel was an outside view of the US and like just what the world think of us. And Damon Lindelof, by being from the US, working on this thing, having a bunch of Americans working on it, it's like, oh, we're going to tell you about the stuff that we don't like to talk about because we got some dirtier shit than the shit you thought we had. Let's go there.
Mm-hmm. So who was y'all's favorite Watchmen character in that show?
Slippery Lube Man. Yep.
That will one scene. If they ever bring him, what was he, Lube Man or something?
Oh, he went through the gutter, didn't he?
Yes, and we never saw him again. And we never saw him again.
And that was it. I still.
Yo.
We need to have some conversations about. They need to talk to us about that. Like, what was the inspiration there? We need to know. How did they just slide him in there and then that's it?
And then slid him right out.
And slid him out.
That's the writer.
He had to be like.
That's his style. He'll come next to him. Won't answer it.
Really, because that was random. Like there was no build up to it. There's no context for it. He just popped in and popped right out. It was like, what is this?
For vigilantism to be a crime, besides him, we didn't really see any others on screen.
No.
Besides like the main characters, and I think we should have seen more. If it's so illegal and we know people are doing it, then why isn't it on screen more? Like
let's keep in mind that this series takes place like right after sometime after the events of the Zack Snyder film.
No, I think it's out of universe of the film because they went like pretty strongly comic based, and there's a divergence. Like the squid thing does not exist in a Zack Snyder film. The squid thing was,
or is it
they were related at all?
I thought that they were. I thought it was after. Right. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's the comic because I know it's the big event that what's his name
Adam this
guy from Die Hard 3. That's how it's called.
yeah, because he creates the squid event. Well, he fakes it. Spoilers.
Yeah. So like vigilantism is illegal, but it's been illegal for like 40 years now. So even there's like a decent sized crackdown. I think the thing you're supposed to play with is they made vigilantism illegal, but all the cops wear masks, and some of the cops have these super personas.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those illegal for who type things.
Also, if y'all know, Panda was a black man, and now that I know that, I don't really like that.
Who?
Panda was the police officer who was always a mess. It was eating and his clothes were dirty.
For some reason I don't recall that character.
I didn't like that.
They showed him, like, I think he was in maybe 2 episodes for a total. He took his mask off.
Oh, I don't recall. I gotta watch that.
Because they were in the boardroom reviewing. I think it was after the cop got shot by the vigilante group, the Rorschach, the white supremacists.
That was the first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I think he was in another episode, and it was probably for maybe a minute, 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
It went long.
I think the one thing that I yearned for after watching this show was the history, the ancestral tracking that they had in Tulsa, and how Lady Knight was able to enter her DNA into this thing, and then all of a sudden find out who her ancestors were. Just as a Black person in America, that's something that I yearn to do. The furthest I've been able to track my own history back is from my father's parents on what's that website? Ancestry.com. I did my little free trial. I got to find out about my great grandparents and how many children they had. It was a census in the early 1900s, and then that's it. That's all I know.
But that's
did you swab?
As far back as Watchmen is given.
No, I'm not giving these people my DNA, even though they call me. Nope.
I'm with you on that one. I'm not. No.
Tulsa's 1921. That's like your Tulsa's 1921. That's like your great grandparents.
Right.
They're going.
Not even.
I know, just the fact that they had that. And I just, in my mind, if they were able to do that, then technology across the country might be the same. So in that universe, Black people may have had better access to their ancestry than we do here. So that kind of bums me out. We don't have that.
For me, that's my grandparents' generation.
Yeah, my grandparents were born early 1910s to mid 1910s.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not that long ago at all.
But it's more than what a lot of us have or know.
But see, like when you swab, you still don't get the full
exactly. I know where my people are from, but I don't
know. They don't keep slave records. Like once they have no idea what part of Africa these slaves came from. So they'll do some genetic matches and give you a general region. Yeah. But it's like, all right, that's a whole country. You don't know what part of the country they're from, what tribe they're from, like, and then they're saying, oh, you could be from like 4 or 5 different countries in Africa.
I mean, that's like DNA. You can't even get back to when your earliest ancestor arrived.
Right.
After they stopped the North Atlantic slave trade, like chattel slavery was a thing. So you might have to go 3 generations back, even if you got yourself all the way to your first freed person in your family. You might have to go another 3 back, 4 back to see when you got off the boat.
Right. And they may not even have, landed in America directly. They could have been dropped off in
the UK somewhere.
or in the islands?
There's my grandfather's last name was Mitchell, and he's from Alabama, and there is a Mitchell plantation in Alabama. That's the best I can do.
Oh yeah, I'm a South Carolina Haynes. There's only like a couple plantations with the name, and my parents or my grandfather came post-war South Carolina migration north. So, thing I like Watchmen though, you need the Hammer contest to get this, but like making the white supremacist group Rorschachs was brilliant, because if you want to go on the whole Watchmen, use its characters as sort of allegories on superhero types. Rorschach was the Batman type, and there's like a cult of fans. Rorschach is actually getting a comic miniseries coming up because there's people who love Rorschach. Like, while he's a great detective, the thing that made him a great detective is he was like nihilist and all sorts of kinds of bigots and fearing of anything different. So for them to be like, hey, this is a legacy Rorschach inspired, and all you people who love him, like, double check what y'all are liking.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was dope.
That's interesting. I never knew that about Rorschach. I've never went deep into the Watchmen comic series. I'm only mostly familiar with the TV show.
Yeah, the comic series, again, it's like a pain. It's a pain to read if you read comic books all the time. Where it's like trying to do stuff that only comics could do in a way where like you have to be experienced to catch them. So like there's people who've read comics for years and can't get through Watchmen. Which is another thing I love about the TV series. It's like very accessible as is, but if you want your extras, you got your Peteypedia, and they stayed as close to continuity as possible.
Was Rorschach a bigot in the film?
I have no idea. That film was a blur to me.
In the film, he was just doing his detective work.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he was very anti-establishment in the film. That's what I remember about him.
Anti-social too.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was. So I mean, that part of you can see why and how that the white supremacist group can take his ideals and twist them for their own agenda. For sure. Because it's really not a hard bend. All right. Got to do some shout outs in the comments. I believe that's my great uncle Bill.
What up, Bill?
Uncle Bill.
What's going on? Shout out to you. Appreciate you. He did. I don't know why he did the wash hands emoji. We just gonna chalk it up to age.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And then OG Coop, what's going on?
You're
out here. All right. So, any more comments on the Watchmen before we switch into this cartoon debate?
Wait, we're supposed to talk about the superhero that's gonna save 2020. We got to get
that's next. That's next.
I don't know. I'm just saying that was just like a Watchmen hot takes, but like I feel like other things to hit on is just that carry through line real quick. If we go on a quick run through it, the idea of legacy and what legacy means to a Black person and what legacy means in general is like all the way throughout that thing. And I really like how they played with that. So like it's very well done. They have Black directors and Black writers on the show, but like for the takeaway to be that of all the things you inherit, you should not inherit my rage, is like a very powerful takeaway at the end. So I was very much with that. I was fully satisfied, though I know exactly what I would do in a season 2. Like that stands alone by itself.
Yeah, no,
Can I ask a question that might. I mean, it happened last year, so if anybody watching didn't watch The Watchmen, that's on y'all. But I gotta ask y'all the question: did the egg do anything?
I don't. If it stays where it is, I don't think it matters. But
season 2.
If they did a season 2, I would say, yeah, the egg worked.
Yeah. I would definitely say the egg worked.
Like, why would you show it if it wouldn't work?
Yeah, Yeah, it
I
worked.
think the reason they don't show you the end is because it's not important. Like Angela has decided to live her life for her for the first time, and that's more powerful than whatever Dr. Manhattan could give you.
I appreciate that. I don't think the egg works. I think if it were up to Imani, season 2 would start with her, instead of walking on water, she just falls right into the pool because she tried to walk. Splash, that's cool. And then by some miracle, he pops up another way. Or he doesn't come back at all.
No, I mean, I think she technically would inherit his power, but
yeah, that's why I think the idea was like,
what if they turned it up a new level? She eats the egg and then gives birth to a new Manhattan.
I would rather her become Manhattan.
Yeah,
I would.
Any blue babies out here.
Yeah,
she popping out blue babies in the pool.
Nah, imagine she's pregnant and the baby's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go out here real quick," and just the whole baby just disappears from her stomach, and she's like,
also, the episode with the Dr. Manhattan reveal, that joint was so good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Black Twitter.
The number of
fire that night.
The number of plot twists and reveals and just layers that they kept adding into that story throughout that full season. I mean, I definitely recommend anyone watch it because it's one of those shows where they hint and then they add layers each episode, and then like midway through they start tying up all the loose ends.
Episode 6 they start tying it up.
if you like that level of suspense where it just keeps building on every single episode, and then eventually it starts to reveal things, and then those revelations aren't necessarily what you're expecting or anticipating, it's definitely one of those shows. So if you like that kind of show, I definitely recommend go watching that. And it's on HBO Max right now.
Yes. Just a quick kudos to HBO Max having everything.
Yeah.
Although I do think it's quite an inconvenience that there's an HBO and there's an HBO Max, and now every channel that already exists has their own separate app that's outside of their regular list.
HBO was a premium channel, and I feel like HBO is the successful transition, right? Because I feel like the way large corporation capitalism works is you get most of the time if you can be physically localized, you get like 6, and HBO was like, crap. They got Netflix, they got Hulu, Disney can do whatever it wants. Like, I need to be the 4th one sliding in here. And they were like, "Ayo, Cartoon Network was good." I feel like that was the end of the streaming wars when Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon picked sides, and it was like, oh, it's over. Like, I don't
yeah, and then they picked up Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Everything Harry Potter, Cartoon Network, which means they also have Adult Swim, and they have one more thing.
They got DC.
Yeah, they got DC and they got Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And they got like that weird partnership with Funimation where they get some Funimation stuff, but not all of it.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I think HBO Go ends on 7/31. HBO as a subscription service, like a cable channel, still will exist, but it's HBO Go, the app. It's now going to become HBO Max.
Yeah, I have realized that it's kind of pointless, especially if you pay for cable.
Because all of that stuff is still on is on HBO Max now. So they're getting rid of that because I don't think that's an independent. It is an independent subscription service, but they've got way more properties on there.
Cable though, you get both because my parents have HBO through their cable package, and so they come
mine do too.
Yes, shout out to Grandma Laura for the email and password. I love you.
Yeah, my mom was trying to get her set up this week, and they were giving her all types of problems. So hopefully she can get that resolved soon.
Hey, Lovecraft Country next month. Some more black crap.
What is that?
Lovecraft Country. It is based on a novel from 3 or 4 years ago about a black family making their way across Jim Crow America, and there's like monsters and there's racist. So it's a horror show.
Oh, and they have powers, right?
Do they have?
Oh yeah, no, I saw something about that. Now that I think about it,
the Smollett sister.
Yeah, the Smollett sister.
Yes.
Is what? So where's that? Is that streaming?
It'll be HBO's second week in August, so like the 16th.
Okay. So August 16th. Well, yeah, we can get a date on that. But yeah, okay. So we'll look out for that one for sure, because that's something that we can definitely hop on and.
August 16th is correct.
Boom.
Hop on and review. We do some live reactions because it'll be a episodic release. So is it a series?
Yeah, so it'll be weekly release.
Okay, so yeah, we can. That's something that we can review every week.
Can we tell the people about The Boys? We didn't mention it before.
Yeah.
The Boys airs weekly on Amazon Prime Video, and I will be going live. I don't know dates yet, but after each episode, we're gonna be on YouTube talking about it. So join me. Letting y'all know that now is happening.
What date is that?
Right.
Do you know what date season 2 comes out?
September 4th, right?
Okay, so you've got.
Wait, don't quote me on that.
You got about a month to catch up, watch season 1, because we're gonna. Well, Amani's gonna do a review on season 2 episodically, weekly.
Yeah.
This week's show.
Definitely looking forward to.
September 4th is happening. That's when episode 1 comes out.
July 30th is Transformers War for Cybertron Part 1
on
Netflix.
Is that live action or animated?
Animated, but like no humans. So Robot Carnage and the head writer's a black dude.
Oh, we're definitely checking that out then.
Absolutely.
What kind of animation?
CGI.
Ooh.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we'd definitely check that out.
Happening. Why have we not heard about that?
Right.
Why haven't I heard about
That's why we got Lou on here, man. Everybody out here breaking news.
Transformers is like my first fandom. I had a Optimus Prime and a Soundwave before I could actually figure out how to transform them. So like literally, my memory forms. There's Star Wars and they're Transformers, and they've always been there.
Those Transformers toys were definitely difficult to transform.
I had so many.
Things were complicated.
And like the Beast Wars are the most complicated because ours are kind of blocky, so you figure out where that goes. Beast Wars had the curves worked in, so you're like,
yes, sir.
Okay, where does this T-Rex head come out of? Because the robot head is like inside the body. What am I doing now?
Yeah.
Am I the only one who's noticed that Netflix doesn't really promote shows? They just put them out and wait for the people to talk?
I noticed they promote certain shows, and the shows they promote are always like weird picks. Every time Netflix promotes a show, I'm like, yo, there's something like 5 times better on there.
Yeah, it's it makes me wonder how much these certain films are paying for advertisement on YouTube for YouTube to promote these products, because there's a certain like they do make some questionable kind of promotions for their products, because there's a lot of shows and originals that they have on there that it don't get a lot of promotion and shine that I feel should have.
Like Another Life. Yeah.
I mean, Chef's Table was something that I didn't see a lot of promotion of, which I thought was phenomenal.
That might be the best documentary show they have on there.
Yeah, like it's beautifully shot. Like it's some of the best like food photography and videography I've ever seen. And like the chefs that they've picked are like very inspiring, and they've got great stories, great food. Like it's an amazing show. I would definitely recommend anyone go watch Chef's Table on Netflix.
Just like Chef's Day in the Life of a Chef, or
it's a documentary.
Yes, a backstory.
Show it tells you the backstory of how they became what they are, and throughout the episode, they'll talk about different dishes on their current menu. And by the end of the episode, they've walked you through basically a full meal at their restaurant.
And then they talk about the inspiration behind each of their dishes and each of their specials on their menu, and like just how they got into cooking and becoming a chef, and like their whole journey from start to finish. Like it's a dope show. Like I love it.
Most of them have Michelin stars. They'll talk to you about the process of, what it was like when they won it. And
Yeah, and if you like people talking about their process, especially creatives like that are, you know, talk about the process of making their food and just, you know, what inspires them. It's a amazing show. Like they're very open and forward with their lives and the things that they've gone through. It's something that I don't understand why I didn't get a lot of promotion, because it's a great show.
Most cooking shows make you hungry. Chef's Table inspires you to do something, not necessarily to cook, but to just do something and to love it and be passionate about it.
Yeah, especially if you're in a creative funk, like go watch that show. Yes, sir. Go watch that show, because they've gone through some stuff.
Yeah, this season one, episode 1 had me hooked. It's probably still my favorite, or one of my favorites. But it's
definitely go check that out.
Man, y'all are selling this right now.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's like I said, one of those shows they didn't promote that I just stumbled across. I think it was on the title card when I pulled up Netflix on my Xbox, and the preview started playing. And I was like, "What is this?" And I clicked on it, and it was wraps from there. Watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I started watching it when I was living in Charlotte, and I'll never forget. They just dropped a second season one day, and it popped up on my Netflix, and I just couldn't move. I was stuck for 6 hours. I had to watch it through and through. It's absolutely amazing. I had something that I wanted to say about. What were we talking about before this?
Well, we got to get into this superhero discussion because we're running on time right now.
Now it's time. Can I start?
Nope. We got to go to.
Who's up?
Got to go to Discord.
Well, yeah, let's tell the people what the category is. At the end of the last show, I asked you guys if there was one fictional character, not specifically hero, but fictional character that could save 2020. Who would you pick?
Yeah, so right off the top, I'm going to start with Four Blind Kings. He said Doctor Strange because he's played a major part in Endgame, and he's in the going back in time, and all that stuff is helpful, which I don't disagree with. I agree that time travel could probably help us with our present situation.
Yeah.
Comments, thoughts?
That was my original pick. And then I thought, well, if he goes back in time and changes something, it won't necessarily change our time. It would just make an alternate timeline. So our time now wouldn't have any effect. So
got you with that time magic.
Yeah.
Yep. Time magic is the tricky thing. Next, we got Gabriella. Says Connie from Steven Universe as an adult would have this shit under control, or at least would use Lion to go chill out with the diamonds and other gems on Homeworld. Does anyone watch Steven's Universe? Because I'm not on the Steven's Universe.
I'm a Steven Universe fan, and being that in general, I kind of reject the question because I'm like, we have so many problems right now. What can any one person do? If I extracted that and made just the team of the crystal gems, Steven out here healing Corona with his magical healing spit. Connie Maheshwaran just be on all her stuff. Plus, she might have took on her mom's path and been a doctor. Plus, Connie could also probably run for president, and the crystal gems have powers and stuff. So, of the ones, I was like, that's my favorite because I'm gonna expand and be like, yo, the crystal gems are on it. Though I can fully imagine the weird clinic where Rona's there and Steven is there just licking his hand and touching people so he can heal them with his spit. That's also a funny visual.
Wow. Yeah, Steven's. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
So you can
Steven Universe.
You can watch all of it, but the first one takes a weird amount of time to get through.
All right, Wilson said he's got his money on Senku because 10 billion people, 10 billion% confident he's got a plan to save us all.
That is also Dr. Stone pun. 10 billion% is what Senku says.
That's a big number.
10 billion%. That's huge.
Yeah.
But Senku's a wild super genius. If you don't watch Dr. Stone, the premise of Dr. Stone is something mysterious happens and all people turn to stone for 3,700 years. And the that's enough time for steel and concrete.
3,700 years. That's a long time.
3,700. How do we know it's that long? Because this man Senku has been counting the seconds the entire time he's been frozen.
Wow,
that's the kind of man this is.
Ridiculous.
Apparently, nitric acid that forms on bat guano is the key to unpetrifying people. And
bat crap.
Yeah, the nitric acid, like when you get the stalagmites and it's dripping, whatever was on the ceilings were mites, tights. That nitric acid that's dripping down is part of what heals the humans. And so he's trying to rebuild civilization. All the science in the show is real. Like he's like, the first thing you need to start society is calcium carbonate. Why? I don't know. Watch the show and see why. All the science is real. And so Senku could definitely rebuild civilization. I don't know if Senku's a politician. That's why I'm like, I don't know what one person is going to help us through this. Senku going to come up with the corona vaccine. I don't know what he going to do about the world moving right.
That's when you need, well, we're going to get into that.
And last but not least, we got Mackie Boomers who says Austin Power because it's dumb enough that it might work.
I'm not even mad at that.
No, I gotta give him a pass because of the explanation.
That's why I'm not even mad at that.
I don't know. I just want the visual of him trying and the weird conversation he would have with 45.
Yeah, I want the hot mic combo on that one.
All right, so that was from the Gumbo Discord. Now, what's everyone's favorite response out of everyone that commented on Discord?
I like the Austin Powers.
I was about to say Austin Powers did it for me.
I like Connie's and Steven Universe one.
Yeah,
Austin. That was the only one I knew. I didn't know the other ones. So
you knew Strange.
And shout out to my dad, Dr. Strange.
But you broke that one. Like, he goes back in time. It's another timeline. What that mean to me?
Right, exactly. We're not saving ourselves with that one. We can't go there.
Yeah, we just saving other people. So in another timeline.
Welcome, AJ.
Hey, Jan.
AJ, tell us if there was one fictional character who could save 2020, who would it be and why?
And it's like when you walking late to class and the teacher be like, "Oh, pop quiz, what's good?"
That's right.
For real.
On you, what's up?
Yeah, anybody in the comments?
Yeah,
let us know. We're gonna share ours. Let's start with Amani.
All right, I got two.
Oh
Lord, she come with two already.
This was not my
rules.
Choice. This is an answer that I changed to, and then I was like, nah, because it's a little problematic. Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, I knew that one. I kind of figured she was going there.
However, as we know, Dr. Manhattan experiences time at the same time, which means everything that has happened this year, he knew that it was going to happen because to him, it's all happening at once. So he is currently experiencing all of these crazy things happening, and he's already done nothing. So if he allowed all of this to happen, I don't know. I have a problem with that. You might as well get out the way and just let whatever happen. And also, we know that, or at least I don't believe that Dr. Manhattan cares about people too much. Well, no, we know Dr. Manhattan doesn't care about people.
No,
definitely a pacifist.
As far as that answer goes, it kind of just washed out because he let it all happen because he doesn't care in the first place. Now back to my original answer, which I still stand by, because if there is anyone, 2020 just needs a pep talk. 2020 can be saved by us, the people. And we, the people, just need to get it together. And there's no person who can better speech than the one and only Optimus Prime.
Oh my God.
Yo.
We need a pep talk. There's nobody that could give a pre-game speech better than Optimus Prime. I'm
pre-game.
See how she set us up with the Watchmen talk and then the Transformers talk, and it was like
pre-game.
First of all, you brought a Transformers. I didn't even know that was happening.
Yo, we 7 months into the year. I don't need a pep talk
right now. We need a half game speech. We are in the thick of it.
Goodness gracious.
Game speech. Not Dr. Prime. Optimus Prime doesn't give.
Not Dr. Prime.
Dr. Prime.
Dr. Prime. Dr. Prime.
The world.
You know, not. Optimus Prime left Cybertron because he couldn't stop a global war.
For real though, that's not a good.
He lost the whole ass planet already.
He's here now, and I think that he could save us. We just all need to get it together. And he is the person. He is the being, because he's not a person. He is the Prime that can get us all together. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it, no matter how great anybody else's answer is.
First of all, we don't need to be together. We need to be distant.
Okay.
Coronavirus.
You know what I mean.
We need to keep our social distance. Number one, first and foremost.
No one man thing.
That's the kind behavior going on right now. He can shut that down.
No one man thing. Like
I'm not sold.
I might take the Autobots as a decent option, but like I'm mixed between Optimus Prime's idealism and the fact that the Autobots are in fact an army, and what they really about is that military action. So like mixed feelings.
I mean, yeah. I don't have too much of a problem with military action. It just depends on whose side the military is on at the time. And as long as they're on my side, I'm cool.
But they're not even organic. What they gonna do about the Rona?
You can't shoot the Rona.
But I need
Dr. Prime come in.
That's what Dr. Prime comes in.
Dr. Prime, he could be Dr. Prime. He needs to tell us to get away from each other. All right, we got some people in power right now that aren't too good with words. They're saying the wrong things and they're inspiring the wrong things. He will inspire the people to do the right thing. And I think that if the people do the right thing, 2020 could get a little bit better. We just need some inspiration. And I almost said Dr. Prime again. Optimus Prime can do that. That's my answer.
Don't come to me next because I forgot my answer talking about that.
I'll give mine. I'll go with Silver Surfer post Fantastic Four battle when he's free of
after he beats Galactus.
Yeah. I was looking at his powers and I'm like, yo, Silver Surfer is a beast. He can heal living organisms, though he can't raise them from the dead. He can revitalize and evolve organic life. So he can take Corona right there and make something with it.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
He can create interdimensional portals and throw Agent Orange right in that little thing.
Wait. Oh, I was like,
every problematic person out here calling these situations, open up a portal, throw them in.
Oh my goodness.
5.
Yeah, he can time travel. He can. I mean, if you Wikipedia Silver Surfer, his powers are like OP.
Yeah, he's OP. So that's a good one because I feel like he would take out the Corona. He's actually, he could take out the Corona and some other problematic
like climate change problems.
He could solve a lot of things. He could solve. Yeah. He's a problem solver for sure. Yes.
I feel like that's similar to like the Dr. Manhattan pick, where the all powerful superhero can snap their fingers.
Yeah.
And fix things.
Manhattan was more passive, so I wouldn't expect him to take action.
I don't know too much about Silver Surfer. Does he care about people?
Yes. Yeah. He learns to.
But Silver Surfer is also. You got a whole galaxy to worry about. Where's Earth on his priority list?
Yeah.
So he can perceive the calls intergalactically. He can hear us call his name, basically.
like Captain Planet.
Yeah. Let me see. I copied and pasted the show here. It said, where is it? He can transport people through time as well.
Oh, that would be useful.
Oh, yeah.
For certain individuals. For certain problematic people.
Also, send me to the future, please.
He can see through time and achieve limited perception of past and future events.
Is that similar to Dr. Manhattan? Because if that's the case, then I don't like that.
It's similar, but he has to concentrate very hard.
He's kind of sort of like, well, no, never mind. That's not true. But he's kind of like a Manhattan for the Marvel universe.
Yeah, the all powerful figure that can. Silver Surfer's very hand wavy. I can make it happen. So is Scarlet Witch minus her weird temper tantrums.
Yeah, but so my comic relief pick is Rick and Morty.
The comic relief pick.
Dukes.
Rick does not care.
That's hilarious.
Rick Morty is my comic relief pick.
Yeah, we find this very entertaining.
First of all, Rick found the vaccine and a cure in December before the virus even got to the States. Okay, he had the cure and he's been sitting on it, living his best life because he is just awful.
Yeah, he got drunk. He got drunk and forgot.
Yeah,
he ain't even forget. He's got like a feed. And
so wait, then how is he gonna be the one? Like, no, man, he's irresponsible. Like, no. Like, no.
Nick would have the camera in the perfect position to laugh at Agent Orange the entire time. And Morty would be like, oh, no, Rick, people are dying. And Rick would be like, shut up, Morty, this is the best part.
Joke's on you, Morty. I gave myself the coronavirus and healed myself 9 times already. That's exactly what he would say.
Lou, you got yours yet?
Yeah, I'm going to go with not even a superhero, just the Medical Legion of Wakanda in the city of Azaria. And they've got all the tech to make it happen. The question is, would they? Like, could they? Yes.
Yeah, it's like, do they want to?
I don't think they want to.
Like, do they?
Here's the thing, though. Are they gonna do like Ghana and give us a welcome home package? Because that's all I need.
We need that. We need that.
leave them here.
We definitely need.
I need a visa. That's what I need.
That's
I don't know if they grant those. You got to go through quarantine first.
Tell T'Challa I need a visa. I'm coming, and I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I don't know what their refugee quota is.
Them vibranium infused white blood cells.
I'm pretty sure they'd help the continent first.
Vibranium infused white blood cells.
Hey, I don't know if it's really a thing, but
hey, that's tough.
Sounds tough.
That's tough. That's tough.
Nobody getting sick.
Nobody.
Colds in Wakanda. A cold, like you sneeze, they look at you like, who your parents?
Imposter. They're not from here.
Let me see your bottom lip. You're not one of us.
They ain't come through. They definitely weren't born there.
But they absolutely could. Just the question is, do they want to?
Would they? Would they? Is the question. All right. So my pick.
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
That is insane.
My pick is the Doctor.
The Doctor.
Doctor Who. Specifically, the 10th Doctor.
The 10th
I picked the Doctor because he is probably one of the very few fictional heroes that is able and is like very I would say empathetic towards humans. And if you've ever watched the show, 2020 feels just like a Doctor Who episode. And so I figure he'd probably be the best person to come and fix whatever the heck is going on in the world right now, because that's just kind of what he does.
So what does Doctor Who do?
He's a Time Lord. He's a Time Lord. He's a time traveler. They are the masters of time and space.
So is he like on some Doctor Strange level?
No, but he can regenerate. But like, so in the show, right? Like he's smart. He's clever. He's super smart. So he can figure out what's going on. If there's some sort of intervention, whether it be like an alien or some other external threat that's causing all these issues that could be a problem for humanity's existence, that's when he shows up.
So he could save us from the Rona.
He could. But he could save us.
Can he dabble in political diplomacy?
He's going to save the world.
He wouldn't dabble in political diplomacy himself. He would hop in time to the person that could.
And figure out what's going on.
And bring that back into our time? Is that?
No. He would like go back and be like, oh, in a weird change the future alternate timeline, but he would do the equivalent of going back in time and be like, hey, he'll like don't send them emails from your private server because in the future you need to do really important things. Doctor Who would be like, yeah,
exactly.
Like, what important thing? He's like, look,
don't send them emails
because like what would happen?
But like, don't.
But it would make an alternate universe.
No, not really.
He would be the equivalent for what's coming up.
He would be there to prevent he would hop in.
I can't see the future like Doctor Who can, but like he would make sure whatever the next thing was.
He would
in the past, so I gave a past example.
He's already seen the end of the universe, like he's experienced all of time in space. So if he shows up and something happens that he never experienced, he knows that there's something wrong. So if he showed up on Earth and the coronavirus is running rampant and he doesn't in his time that never happened, he knows that something is wrong. So he'll go back in time to figure out what went wrong and fix it. And then for us, it will never have happened. That's what he does. And he does it without killing people, which is also another benefit because I feel like we need a hero that's it's not about that war life because we got a lot of that right now. We need somebody that'll hop in, fix the problems without killing people.
That's tough.
It is. That's why that's my pick.
I'm just glad that nobody pulled out the bib and then was like Batman.
Hey, I think people knew better.
Y'all got to know better right now. Don't mention him up in here.
Oh man,
Batman been catching heat, boy.
Also,
big time heat.
And I really don't understand that because him and Iron Man are the exact same person.
No, Iron Man has more powers and he can do more. Come on now.
He doesn't have. They're people. They ain't got no superpowers. They do push-ups and they got gym memberships. Man, like
everything about my distaste for Bruce Wayne is how little effort he actually puts into changing the people or community around him. And like Tony Stark may fail, but he try. He's also doesn't want to be in the armor forever. And like Bruce, outside of the Nolan series, Bruce is like, oh yeah.
I just can't forgive Iron Man for being a part of the
New York City has infinite power now because of Tony Stark.
Okay, but this dude, MIT genius, has no idea what the military industrial complex is and that he's a part of it while he's making the most deadly weapons on the planet.
I didn't say
how, Sway.
How? And then changed his life around.
How does this? People have my weapons. Oh, like, innocent people are getting killed by my weapons. How is this happening? Like, come on, bro.
It wasn't innocent people are being killed. It's like he thought it is very like rah-rah patriotic and backstory where he's like, I thought when I made weapons for our troops, like only our troops would use them.
Stupid. MIT. Come on. You went to MIT and you like, come on now. Like
for technology as a teenager, clearly politics are not his strong suit. You got that money to make him forget.
If you say so. If you say so.
Yeah, I'm not saying it absolves him, but I'm like, compared to Bruce Wayne, I'm a take Tony Stark because after he realized how dumb he was like, you know what? Let's try the correct course. So Bruce is like, I'll see you after midnight.
All right, so we got some answers from the chat. We got Spock as a hero.
Spock.
I can see that.
The Vulcan grip with the Vulcan grip, Vulcan chop.
So, like the weird thing about
Vulcan
Star
pinch
Trek is, in general, they've achieved galactic peace, and so
this wouldn't have happened if we were living in that timeline.
Never happened.
Right.
Which is why I still agree with that pick. That's a great pick. Shout out to you, Mom.
And if there was a dictator in any planet that was acting this fool, they'd have got him up out of here.
For real.
He'd be in jail right now.
For real. For them, all this type of stupidity ended. And it's funny though, because in the Star Trek universe timeline, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening in this time period that we're in right now in the 2020s up until like the 22nd century. I forget. I think the last World War happens in the 22nd century or something like that, or in the 21st. I can't remember. But then, like, sometime after that, that's when they bring everyone together, and the United Nations becomes the Federation Starfleet.
Aww. We got to start putting ETAs on our, time zones on our posts. Sorry, Kanara and Gabriella, for not being specific. We'll make sure.
Man, yeah, I thought I put EST on all the promotions. I apologize for that.
I slip too. It's difficult sometimes, even if it's.
I definitely didn't put the time zone when I shared it with people. So Kanara, that's on me. My bad.
Alrighty. Yeah, no, we'll make sure we'll be good with that going forward.
Well, so, I picked your pick for what I thought was like the best solution to cartoons.
Yeah, we're actually going to get into that right now. We're going to get into that right now. So another thing that we talked about was what cartoon had the biggest cultural impact.
Oh man, Looney Tunes.
It's absolutely Mickey Mouse.
Inside
and outside of cartoons.
Yeah, well, yeah, Mickey. Yeah, that's the
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse is the grandfather of all.
Do you know why cartoons? Superman and Mickey Mouse and a bunch of other properties are in public domain right now? Because of freaking Mickey Mouse.
What was Mickey Mouse's name before Mickey Mouse?
Steamboat Willie was his original cartoon.
Steamboat Willie.
That sounds racist. I don't like that.
The drawings are.
Hey yo,
Steamboat Willie.
Now that Steamboat
Willie.
I'm glad
Steamboat Willie. That is hilarious.
The entire old school cartoon thing is like the look is pulled directly from minstrel shows. The big white around the mouth, the glove. It's the Sambo thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
That's why
they escape it.
Yes, that's why they switched it up.
Heck yeah. So my pick for sure is Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I definitely watch Looney Tunes.
I can see more Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, I can definitely see, but off of my bias, I would say Looney Tunes because I consumed Looney Tunes on a daily basis as a kid growing up.
Yes, religiously.
I did pretty well too, and they are definitely up there in the cartoon pantheon. But yeah, Mickey Mouse be like, in world, y'all made shorts like me. Outer world, y'all public domain characters all effed up, and I'm still out here popping.
Y'all's answers are not wrong, but I am going to stand by my answer that I put in the Discord. And as far as just right now goes, 2020, SpongeBob is that dude. And I just can't, I will not change on that. He is, who else is mean? Who's mean more than SpongeBob?
Yeah, I want to say of the 21st century, I'm going to give you like if 21st century is the limit, I'm going to give you SpongeBob because coming into meme culture is like coming into language culture. And one of the coolest things that a SpongeBob meme did is the one where he got like the chicken arms and the big letter, small letter. Now you don't even need the picture. You start typing with random capital letters, it refers to the SpongeBob meme. SpongeBob changed the way we type casually.
See, yeah, I wasn't a fan of SpongeBob growing up. Never have been.
SpongeBob is
never have been.
I am an adult and I will still watch SpongeBob if it is.
I like SpongeBob pretty much through the first SpongeBob movie. Then it got kind of weird. I did like maybe a season after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this isn't going anywhere.
Just there are so many things in my life that I could compare to SpongeBob. Also, maybe it's because my first job was at McDonald's and I worked at a fast food joint, but I see myself in him.
That makes sense because I definitely thought you were about to be like, I worked at a fast food joint, and when I started working, they were giving out SpongeBob toys with little kids' meals.
No, that's not where I was going with that. But it'd be dope if they did. I have
going to the comments. My mom says the Boondocks,
the most influential.
Influential. I would definitely say for our culture for sure.
Yeah.
Now it got me thinking, like, what is the biggest black?
Also, if we're gonna mention Boondocks, then we have to shout out The Simpsons.
Thank you. Because I was gonna be like, if we had to mention Boondocks, we got to shout out the Proud Family.
Danny B says Tom and Jerry. Yeah, the Proud Family is a good one too.
Tom and Jerry. You know, I never really liked Tom and Jerry.
Oh my goodness, let's talk about that.
He could never catch him. I'm like, man, I want to see this.
Episodes where Tom catches Jerry, but like the thing is, they friends. They actually friends.
Tom is the worst cat ever.
Yeah, I was just like, nah, he's not winning enough for me. I can't see it.
The biggest part of Fat Albert's legacy, unfortunately, is a 2004 movie with Kenan Thompson.
We're not talking about that. No, that never happened.
What's the legacy of Fat Albert?
It's not a cartoon. We talking about cartoons. We sticking to the cartoon.
But that's what I'm saying. They're like, where's the legacy? Like, it died off. It didn't pick back up.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Since we're talking about Looney Tunes so much, there is an artist on YouTube that we need to shout out. I need to shout out. Their page is called Meat Canyon. Meat Canyon makes parodies of our favorite cartoons, and I absolutely recommend it.
Like, hi, how are ya? Or meat like
steak. Meat Canyon.
This looks crazy too.
It's wild. There's actually there's an episode called Wabbit Season that Warner Brothers sued them for and forced it to be taken down, but you can find it anywhere else, just not on YouTube. So check that out. It's wild. Yeah, I cannot talk about it on air because the topics that they get into are crazy, but they definitely take our favorite cartoons and just go left.
Wow. Yeah, these look pretty.
I just want to say, in like 10 years, your little cousins and whatever, they're gonna be talking about Craig of the Creek. It's Craig of the Creek. Craig of the Creek, Cartoon Network.
Craig of the Creek?
Yeah, it is a show about a suburban black boy who lives in a town that's like an amalgamation of suburban Maryland and suburban New Jersey. And it is great.
And it's on Cartoon Network right now.
It's on Cartoon Network right now. And there'll be like so many moments that'll you'll just feel like this is the blackest thing you've ever saw on a small kids show. From like cousins driving from another state for Thanksgiving to
I like it.
I'm having gone to Howard till his dad calling him my guy.
They definitely have black writers.
Jeff Tremel's the head writer for that. He's a black dude.
Yeah,
we need more stuff like that.
Yeah, so we got a black dude talking black family, Craig of the Creek.
I like the animation style too that I'm looking at online right now. It's pretty cool.
My little cousin used to watch Doc McStuffins when she was that age. I think that's on Disney.
No, that was Nick Jr.
That's Nick Jr. Yeah, Nick Jr.
So is this on HBO Max if it's on Cartoon Network?
The first season is on HBO Max. The second season they're airing now isn't up there yet.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Check that out.
Konara says he was not a huge fan of SpongeBob, I assume, because that's what he posted when we were talking about that. And then he mentioned Boondocks. And then something that was chosen a lot in the Discord was Avatar. We didn't talk about that on here, but the Discord went really hard for Avatar.
Avatar.
I did not know it was not anime, so my apologies to y'all. I did not know.
I don't consider it. That's a topic of debate.
Yeah, I think what I've heard is that it's not considered anime because it's not Japanese.
That's how I feel about it. There's like an anime alignment chart out there on the internet about the different ways people consider anime, but I think to call Avatar anime, there's two things. Like, even if you go Japanese, the influences of Avatar are very primarily Chinese. Then Avatar is definitely iconic. I don't know about most influential, but it's iconic, and it's a huge step for Western animation in the stories Western animation can tell. And I think by like calling it anime, you take that away. You take away one of his biggest achievements. But Avatar is definitely iconic. Definitely a show of a generation. The pod did Avatar Avatar Trivia Night hosted by Gumbo. I've seen it more than 6 times. I just don't know that's the most influential.
Yeah. One thing I want to get into though is the networks, because I feel like Disney with the Mickey Mouse series had its what I don't know is, where did Looney Tunes originally premiere? Because I know it wasn't on Cartoon Network, because I watched it on Cartoon Network. But
theaters, we were watching we were watching reruns by the time we were watching.
Yeah. But I watched it on Cartoon Network. But I feel like, for me personally, Cartoon Network began to apply pressure to Disney heavy in like the 90s and 2000s with the amount of content they were putting out.
Disney did like Disney's doing with Disney Plus. They came in the game kind of late, and they strong armed their way in because they got money. Because Nickelodeon was the first kids network, and Nickelodeon mixed programs, and Cartoon Network came along, and they were like, all cartoons all day, original cartoons. Plus, we bought the rights to these old cartoons that you used to watch when you were kids.
Yeah,
this, like, crap, this kid network thing is working. Let's do Disney Channel. Yo, we got money. Shows. What you got?
Yeah, they opened that wallet, opened that purse. They started working. That's what they've been doing, though. That's what Disney's been doing for years.
That vertical integration and entertainment capitalism is Disney's forte. Disney wedged their way in there. Because first they were like, Disney Channel, they were like, we're showing Disney movies. And Nickelodeon was like, we got these live action shows. They're like, oh, we should do those too. And then Cartoon Network was like, cartoons, we got original cartoons. And then this is like, we should do that too.
Yeah. And then when Cartoon Network introduced Toonami, like Toonami introduced a lot of Americans to anime.
Yep.
Tuning in late at because I think Toonami came on at like 9 p.m. Like that introduced a whole bunch of generation, at least my generation for sure, into anime.
Toonami used to come on in the late afternoons too. I can remember coming after school. Like 4 o'clock.
Because they would they would have the ones that would run like during daytime television. They could run during daytime television, but they had like late night showings of more adult anime on like at midnight.
Yeah, I think that initially was part of Adult Swim. Like that Adult Swim, purely cartoons. Some of them weren't anime, but they were purely cartoons at the beginning. No, Toonami came first, but like the late anime was, they call the block, part of Adult Swim.
Yeah.
When I was definitely way too young for Bebop, because like when I was young, it would be the boring anime that came on after Full Metal Alchemist, and then I watched Bebop as an adult, and I was like, this is freaking amazing.
Yeah, Bebop is amazing, and yeah, that is something like as an adult that I've come to appreciate more, for sure. Because like, I mean, the cinematography in Cowboy Bebop, and that's something that I think is underappreciated in a lot of anime, is the cinematography in anime, like in real
like
classic anime.
Tanabe is a fire director, so he also did Samurai Champloo, and then Carol and Tuesday, which came out last year, and he's a fire director. And Carol and Tuesday isn't very action packed at all. It's about musicians, which goes into the thing I was about to talk about, where like Watanabe loves Black music and he tries to play tribute there. Champloo infuses hip hop and Bebop infuses jazz. Carol and Tuesday's a bit more poppy. But that man knows how to direct. He got a vision and he be trying to make it happen.
Sorry.
You also got
Impossible.
My phone.
Never seen it.
Every time I get a text,
I never saw Impossible.
There you go.
Yeah,
no, I like Kim Possible.
I love Kim Possible. What's the Stitch? I still say that when people call me.
I feel like that's the only Disney show. I want to say that's the only Disney show growing up that I actually like.
Disney Channel, like Disney Channel wasn't basic cable. That's another way they box themselves out.
True.
Like that additional cable package, and so I didn't have Disney Channel till high school, and then one Saturday morning cartoons, I could catch some of them, but like they also had to compete with Kids WB and Fox Kids. And I think Kim Possible might be the only show that beat the other two channels in the schedule battle. It was like, oh, I'm gonna turn to one Saturday morning and watch me some Kim Possible.
Who had Totally Spies?
ABC back when it was Disney Family.
Oh, that was on that was Disney. I didn't know that.
Yeah, before
is that anime?
You see,
or is that not considered anime?
That wasn't anime.
That was very like American. But there's like a couple. Is it American? Because I think there's a couple of Italian animated shows that like people look at and be like, "Oh, that was Italian."
Yeah, it trickled into.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bunch of. Cartoon Network had an amazing run of shows back in the 90s and 2000s. Like,
shout out Kids Next Door.
Kids Next Door does not get enough love because I love Kids Next Door, man. Like
number 5.
Oh,
number 5, yes.
They're high. Like Kids Next Door, I rewatched. Billy and Mandy's freaking hilarious.
Grim Adventures of
I don't
Billy
know
and Mandy.
Who decided to make the Grim Reaper a freaking Jamaican, but
that was a great decision. Great.
Dracula, old black man.
That was a great
Vampires don't suck. That's a myth. They scrape and lick.
Like
scrape and lick.
Who would have thought that the Grim Reaper having a Jamaican accent would be that funny? Like that is the most hilarious thing about that show to me. Like, I mean, that's one of the things that captivated me about the show was the Grim Reaper was Jamaican, like straight up.
Who voiced him? Because there's recently been, just since everything has happened with George Floyd and there's this whole pro-black movement, a lot of voice actors we're finding of black characters, which we've known for a while for some, are white people, and they are now taking a step down from their positions. And I'm just wondering, like, some of our favorite voices are not, some of our favorite black characters are not voiced by white people.
Yeah, I know Phil Lamar did Dracula, so Dracula was definitely a black man. I'm not sure who did the voice of Grimm.
I don't know who did the voice of Grimm either. Dexter's Lab was a good one. Powerpuff Girls was good.
Oh, I have a story to tell y'all real quick, because I promised that I would tell it. Hopefully my mother is watching, but I love Powerpuff Girls so much that for my 7th birthday party, I think it was 7th, that I had a Powerpuff Girls themed party, and my mom hired a Powerpuff Girl to come to the party and, you know, do what party characters do. And this woman arrived and she looked like what my mom was expecting. And so my mom pulled me to the side and apologized. Mind you, I don't know if could I have been 5? I don't know how old I was, but my mom knew there was a problem with how this lady looked. And I was going to have a problem with it. So she pulled my young self to the side before I saw this lady. Was like, look, I'm sorry. I'm going to let you know right now. She don't look right. She doesn't look like a character. She looks like a person. And,
what?
And I specifically remember my mom's face because she was worried about what my reaction was going to be to this lady. Do y'all remember the episode where those 3 dudes put on the Powerpuff Girl costumes? And so they looked like this lady looked just like Blossom, all the way down to the red leg hair.
I don't remember that episode.
I think did they rob?
So what?
They robbed the bank in the Powerpuff.
Yeah, they robbed the bank.
Yeah, they robbed the bank dressed
just as the Powerpuff Girls.
That
was a black man, Greg Eagles. Cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Gabriella.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So that bank robber came to my birthday party, and it was not. I'm telling you, that's exactly what she looked like.
Yo,
that's exactly what she looked like. I'm telling y'all. Just this thing. How like the outfit was mad small and the legs was all out. That's what this lady looked like.
I just remember the how hairy their legs were on that joint.
My mom was so upset.
I gotta see if I can bring this up.
Yo, Courage is another good one. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls.
Hard.
Oh, my mom. Mommy, what year was it? And it's not your fault. You didn't know. But the speech that my mom had to give me beforehand, I have never forgotten it because she was just so mortified about what I was about to see.
Fake Powerpuff. Oh, shoot.
She had to give me a little pep talk before I saw her.
Cartoon Network also introduced Americans to Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. Huge. I just for me, I gotta ride for Cartoon Network, man, because Cartoon Network had so much of my childhood. And then that was my first introduction into Gundam Wing.
Yeah, which Gundam Wing's another one where you watched it for the cool robots.
Yeah, you really did.
And watched it as an adult, you're like, yo, they was talking about some wild military industrial.
They really were.
There's shows that are Billy and Mandy where there's adult jokes in there that you pick up when you get up. Gundam Wing is this wasn't a kid's show. They just had robots in it.
At all. And that's something that you got to understand about Japanese anime is this is a legitimate film format. It's not for kids. We as Americans look at cartoons as for kids. The anime that they have over in Japan is not for kids necessarily. This is stuff that is loved and consumed by adults, and it's got real life adult things and themes that they hit on a lot in these shows, and which is why as we get older, we appreciate them more because we're looking at it yo, this is really hitting on some real life issues and subjects that are relevant to today that we've got that they really speak on.
Take a moment in that deepness.
Yeah, I remember Gundam Wing. I never really watched it, so my input on that.
Fire we watched was last year. I just did mech anime pilgrimages in the sleeper because some of them were some of them are as good as I remember. Were Code Geass was good again. Metabots was I couldn't get through Metabots. There's the Zoids New Century Zero series kind of sucked. Zoids Chaotic Century though, they were given a show to sell toys, and they actually put as much legitimate story in there as possible. I feel New Century Zero was lessened because they were y'all was writing. We just need to show as many robots as possible. So next time, dispense.
So this is a good question from Gabriella. What shows had the best adult themes you didn't realize were there until after you reached adulthood?
Cow and chicken.
Okay, so
yikes.
We go with adult jokes. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yeah, that's
Writing them in there.
Yeah. So there's two ways you can categorize that. Are the ones that are subtle, what Pixar does, and what a lot of the animation does now is where they've got these subtle adult themes in there because they know there are adults watching. And then there are the shows that were really about some real life stuff that as kids you aren't really privy to, but you're watching it and you're enjoying what's going on screen.
And if we go with that one, Hey Arnold, because when you just talk about what Pixar shorts do, Hey Arnold consistently on 9 minutes was hey youngin, watch these 9 minutes. You're gonna learn a lesson about morality, and you're not even gonna realize it till you're 20. And you're yo, I learned that in the episode of Hey Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd say Hey Arnold.
Boondocks.
I knew that. I feel Boondocks was in your face though. That wouldn't hit.
Yeah, so
but you can right on the nose. you can watch the Boondocks and laugh at the comedy and then not really understand the satire of it. If you're too young to really to have experienced some of the things that they're talking about, you can still enjoy it because it's comical and it's satire. So there's still all the comedic moments within Boondocks. But then when you really, as an adult, and you experience some things, you understand the satire of the show better.
They do throw Huey in there. Huey explains a lot, which I kind of think is necessary for satire.
Exactly. Like a lot of people can watch. You can watch Saturday Night Live and laugh at it, but to understand like the depth of the satire, you've got to understand what the backstory of it is. I mean that's just how satire works.
What was that show you mentioned, Coop? Ren and Stimpy?
Oh my God, no! Ren and Stimpy was horrible. that show is horrible.
Well, it had an adult theme, but I don't know if
that's something. Yeah, it was.
No, that was just
all right.
That was drugs.
But that show like went so far over my head that I don't even actually remember watching it. Like I remember it being on TV in a time slot.
What about Rocko's Modern Life?
That's another one.
Has some adult themes to it.
That's another one. But see, the thing is with Ren and Stimpy was on so early, it made no sense for that show to be on that early in the day.
Yeah.
Like, because that was a morning cartoon. Like, that was on before noon, man. Like, that show should not have been on at that early. That should have been on Adult Swim at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Let me tell you this Rocko joke that was like fragrant flag on a play when I was rewatching Rocko. I was like, yo, this just should not have existed. This man goes to a fraudulent doctor named Dr. Bend Over.
Oh man.
And Bend Over tells Rocko that he needs to conduct a prostate exam. And then puts a glove on that goes like this far, and then they close the door. And I was like, hey, yo! It's not okay as an adult.
Hey, they were trying to give you that lesson, man. You know.
Oh my goodness!
You get older, you gotta get that check.
Oh, that's wild.
Yo,
see Dr. Bend Over.
Wild.
A cartoon that I watched as a child that I think was geared more towards teenagers was Doug, and I kind of wish I could go back and watch it because the stuff that he was going through with Patty and stuff, like real relationship problems. I feel like we need to go back and revisit that, or at least I do.
Patty Mayonnaise.
How did they come up with those names?
Patty was a brown girl with little yellow hair. Patty Mayonnaise.
Your mayonnaise is yellow?
White probably ain't looking good. I don't really eat condiments, but I think that's where they came up with that.
Hey, yo. Put your mayonnaise on my burger.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Gabriella, that was a great question. Thank you.
Hey, Arnold had them super gems. They had Arnold Christmas special. It's still throwing so much at like a child mind. Mr. Wynn gave up his daughter to a U.S. soldier in Vietnam, and Arnold has to go find his daughter. What? Helga had to give up the Nancy Spumoni boots, which is like, if you're watching Hey Arnold, that is the one time in her life her mom actually paid attention. Her mom, who wasn't really drinking coffee. Mrs. Pataki was definitely an alcoholic. Yes. And it's like, oh, and by the way, Merry Christmas. I was like, I still watch that like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how true. Gabriella says, as told by gender has similar themes. I agree with that. And I don't know how much stock I want to put into it, but there are a lot of people on the internet that say that Rugrats had a lot of like adult themes in it that were subtext.
I don't know, but Rugrats was also definitely hella progressive.
It was.
You know, Phil and Lil's mom was the more masculine of the two, and the dad stayed home. All the moms were the primary income earners in that family. All the moms went to work. Susie Carmichael had the nicest house on the block in that.
Yep. Yes. She was black.
Her mom was a neurosurgeon, and her dad worked for the Gummy Bears. The second episode with Susie, like they're excited. All the other parents are excited to go to Susie's house because the black family has the money. And this is 1992 to 1994.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like there are a lot of subtle themes within Rugrats that were very progressive. It's a very I'd say subtly liberal show. Like there are just some undertones within a lot of their messaging for that show that, you know, I don't pick up on, but Oh, I didn't pick up on it as a kid, but like rewatching it.
Wait,
Hanukkah. They had Passover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that the parents were just awful that their kids had so much time to get into everything. But if you think about it, all of the parents in all children's shows are just real
neglectful.
Neglectful. Their kids out here getting into everything, and they're just not paying attention.
Also, some of the time it was really just their imagination. Like a whole adventure could take place in a sandbox.
Yeah,
a whole adventure could take place in the backyard. But what they see,
Rugrats had a whole show. They were in a box.
They had a whole episode where they were underneath the rug in Tommy's living room, fighting dust bunnies.
See, for the record, no child needs a rug in a black household.
Huh?
No child can be under a rug in a black household.
Yeah, and that's why we never saw Susie under that rug. Even if Susie was there, Susie's mom would be like, we don't do that. But everybody else is, you'll sit here until they're done.
Right.
Yes, Rugrats was very progressive. Very. We agree. What else?
Shout out to Cat Dog. Whoever created that was on drugs.
You know what? A lot of the people on Nickelodeon, a lot of those cartoons, I've got questions about those showrunners and producers for a lot of those shows on Nickelodeon.
Pee Wee Herman opened the door for all of them.
Oh my God. Pee Wee Herman, yeah.
Herman wasn't on TV. They wouldn't be like, hey, drugs might be the way to go.
Goodness gracious.
So did Our Real Monsters have any hidden gems in the adult
That
thing?
show was a blur to me. I remember the rules. I remember the names of the characters.
I remember the name. I don't even remember what it looked like. What channel?
One scary naked man with two eyes.
Hey yo.
And he holds his eyes in his hand.
Yeah.
What about
where old girl was collecting toenails?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Because that's the Nickelodeon show too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Them people over there they were also there. They needed to be drug tested. A little bit. What about oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it would be amazing to be in a writer's room. Like adults created the episode of SpongeBob where they were superheroes, but they were what were they called? I'll get the name for y'all right now, but just adults had to come up with these things, and you're just like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all going through when you're making these things?
What about the Wild Thornberries?
Of super acquaintances. Adults created that episode of SpongeBob. That was the name of their superhero group.
Yeah.
When SpongeBob didn't stick for me, I couldn't sit through a full episode of SpongeBob ever in my life.
I'm gonna drop you a little.
I'm so serious. I couldn't do it.
I definitely, when I was a kid, thought the super speed joke was the funniest thing in the world. Used it several times. Want to see me go to that mountain and back? Want to see me do it again?
He did not move. He did not move.
Yo. Oh man.
Yeah, no, that whole thing was lost on me.
One your cup of tea.
Nah, couldn't do it. It's something about like those loud shows and where the characters are just like screaming all the time that I can't do. I can't. That's why I couldn't watch like the Disney Channel, like all their live their what is it? Yeah, the sitcoms that ran during the daytime. I couldn't watch those shows because I feel like everybody was screaming and yelling for no reason. I'm like, I don't understand what the decibel
live action shows. Nickelodeon through the 90s, with their female director of programming was like, we gonna get black people on the air. Like all that for the white people that were in all that was a very black show from the opening to the guests. And Keenan,
that was on Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah, Keenan,
yeah.
Long running sitcom. You had My Brother and Me, even though it was short lived. You had Gullah Gullah Island.
Mm-hmm.
Nickelodeon through like the early 2000s was like, black people, we got y'all. Then they changed heads and it was like, I mean, we'll see y'all again in 10 years.
And those shows were very positive too.
Yes.
And they all had very positive messages. Like I watched those shows on Nickelodeon for sure. Like the live action shows that they had going on Nickelodeon were actually the better product than their cartoons were, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with that. They had a couple of solid cartoons and the rest they were like,
Yeah.
Also, Nickelodeon had Degrassi on the end, which unrelated, but Degrassi, those kids were going through a lot.
I didn't watch Degrassi. That was one of those exclusive channels that I didn't have.
I was blessed to have it, and let me tell you, I learned about topics from suicide to teen not learned about it, but just watched these kids go through it, like suicide, teen pregnancy, drug use. And I have
to
see, I went to public school, so I got all those lessons firsthand.
I didn't watch Degrassi either.
Well, I was watching that before I went to high school. So
but it was on Noggin before Noggin became Teen Nick, and like Noggin started to become Teen Nick.
Yes, Noggin was Noggin during the day, and then it was the N after like 6 o'clock. I don't know why babies go to sleep at 6 o'clock, but they were like, all right, no more babies on TV. We're gonna put on
nap time.
Yeah.
Public school. Yeah, I learned all those lessons just going through public school, man. I knew actual legitimate, and it's sad, but I knew people who were on coke in like 5th grade.
That's wild.
Sound like child abuse. Listen. It's a wild. That's a wild place, man. I was growing up. Woo, wild place.
In North Carolina. Okay,
it's a wild place.
5th grade.
Trying to tell you, wild place.
Do you think today's cartoons still have positive messages like some older cartoons did? Steven Universe, definitely. Craig of the Creek, definitely. So I think they're out there. Supposedly Gumball, I can't get through a whole episode of Gumball. I got to be like in a Gumball mood. So I think they're still out there. I think there's a swing back, right? Because I think there's a period in the middle until like the mid 2010s, mid 2000s, where they were like, these kids gonna watch whatever we put on. It's gonna be good. But then like when the 80s kids who were coming out of high school when cartoons started being popping, started getting old enough to show run, they made the shows that they would have wanted to watch. And it's like, bam, now we got Steven Universe. So like, you had a gap there. But then our generation literally took the reins and was like, hey, we going the wrong way.
Yeah, and I feel like that there was a period in those mid 2000s to 10s where every network was trying to recreate their version of SpongeBob, and Gumball falls into that category. Like I feel like that was Cartoon Network trying to create a SpongeBob, their version of it.
I wonder if today's kids even watch cartoons the way that we did, because I mean they have social media to entertain them now. Also, reality TV is so big, and there's just a huge obsession with material things and the lives of others. Do they care as much as we did about them?
Maybe the age cut off.
I think they do.
They'll do. It's just they have it on demand, which changes dynamics.
Yeah, and they consume a lot more content than we did because they like, to Lou's point, they got it on demand. Streaming services.
If you go back to Dragon Ball Z, you had to watch Dragon Ball Z every day so that at lunchtime the next day you was not out of the loop. And there was cultural feedback. And like the way I consume story, I live for the in-between where it's like, did you see that episode? Let's talk about what happened. What do you think is going to happen? Now they're just like, I got that whole season. I watched it on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's something too. I mean, that whole weekly anticipation and build up for the next episode where like you've got that time in between to talk to your friends and everyone that, you know, watches the show and speculate on what's going to happen in the next episode.
I live for that in all my stories. I've told this story on the podcast where like in high school, we were reading The Sun Also Rises and having chapter discussions every class. You always had that one kid in the book who read the whole book, and One girl was like, she knows exactly what happens. Oh, I want to talk about it because she was excited. And she does that all the time. And one day I just kind of snapped and I was like, look, you took yourself out of this classroom conversation by reading ahead. You don't get to ruin the book for the rest of us. We're talking now. We're speculating. We get to speculate. And that's part of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
My English teacher was like,
I'm sorry to say all that was me. I was that person. I finished the book with everybody else.
Yeah, it's not because you can read fast. Part of the experience is like stories are meant to be shared. And so like you're gonna talk about it.
I couldn't help myself. I like to read. Don't trust me.
Yeah.
No, I'm not actually mad at you. Especially like if you read it and then you just like refrain from conversation, I'm cool too. But like you read it and you're trying to throw it at the class. And it's like we are talking in chapter 4 about what we think is going to happen in chapter 5. That's a different type of experience. You can't steal that away from me because you decided not to partake in this experience.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like with any story, like it has to teach a lesson. And that's the most important part of the story. Like it's the lesson that you learn at the end of it that is the most important. I mean, that's the whole reason why we tell stories. That's the reason why fiction is important. It has to teach you an important life lesson, and it needs to, in some way, instill some level of morality and humanity in you, and keep to building that. So, like, I think cartoon shows do it today. I just think they deliver it in a different format than what we are used to. I mean, because we grew up on an episodic weekly basis. They've got it on. Kids now have it on like they can binge an entire season, and so the lesson is slower. Like because you binge watch it. Like the good shows will draw that lesson out over the course of that season, and at the end of the season, there's a lesson for you there to be learned. Whereas like our shows kind of did it per episode. Like there was something that you could learn in an episode of a show.
Can I shout out Big Mouth? That's probably the one show that I'm sad that I didn't get to experience as a teen or as like a preteen. Those kids are going through puberty on screen and they're growing and they're learning about their bodies and emotions, and I'm super jealous.
Definitely like hard teen. I'm not going preteen on Big Mouth because
we had
was looking at a man looking at a kid try to do weird things with his pillow and couch cushion.
All right, that was a little different. He was out there, but I'm just saying
he's like one of the main.
Okay, but is it? But what
going through puberty with that and what that would be like? Just I don't know. I think that would be dope.
But so then what's better? Like the format that we got where it's some awkward 40-plus-year-old person trying to teach you about different sexual organs, or like
I'm saying like give me another 3 years. I get you Big Mouth at 15, but not giving me Big Mouth at 10 to 12.
Because those sex ed courses I had to take in like middle school were horrible. I don't remember anything from them.
My parents had told me already. So
right.
I'm like y'all, and also they still didn't break down like hormonally what's happening to you.
Right. It wasn't an anatomy class. It wasn't about
right. It just they might as well have done. Have y'all seen Mean Girls when the gym teacher was like, don't have sex because you will get pregnant and die. And that was the whole special
ed. That's basically sexual ed.
We didn't really have that. So I don't know. I think that show was really dope. But yeah, the kid and the pillows, pregnancy. Like I said, some of these animators are on drugs.
They're definitely on shrooms and ass.
That was nuts.
Yeah, there's some things. There's some things medicated individuals in those writing rooms.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right. Well, we got about 11 more minutes. We can run this thing to 10 o'clock. Hey, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to our channel.
Yes,
helps us tremendously, and we appreciate everyone for coming out.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Certified Gumbo. We would love to speak to you and interact with you on the daily. And make sure you join us on Discord.
Yeah, and if you can, make sure after each episode, share these episodes if you enjoy these episodes with your friends and colleagues and whoever you feel would enjoy this content that we're trying to create on this channel. That helps too, because the views after the live streams will help our channel grow in popularity as well. So make sure you keep sharing it, and we appreciate you all that have, and hope you continue to. Yes, and follow us on social.
Yeah.
And join the Discord.
Yes,
we have these conversations all the time.
For the Discord. Gabriella says Big Mouth is good how it talks about a lot of issues, but it is meant for adults. I agree that it's meant for me now, but there's kids who are going through puberty who are watching that, and I kind of wonder what their experience is going to be like.
Yeah, Boondocks weren't meant for me, and I was still watching the Boondocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I feel like it was hitting on things that were culturally relevant, and because of that, it's appropriate. But it's still up to the discretion of the parent, of course, if you're underage. But I feel like some of those things are just, it's reality at the end of the day. Like it's stuff that people are going through, and to me, that's okay. I mean, as far as it's up to the parents' discretion if they want to show. But I feel like shows like the Boondocks and Big Mouth, they do have, like I said, those lessons at the end of the day that they're trying to teach. And if that's the format you feel is okay to share with your child, then hey, that's on you.
Shout out to Gabriella for always bringing things to talk about in these comments.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, and she's very active in the Discord. So
yeah.
We definitely appreciate you always showing up for us.
Yeah, that's D&D Dungeon Master.
Yeah. And shout out to my mom. Shout out to Imani's mom.
Yes.
Showing up. And Ronnie also showing up all the time.
I can't help but think about your comment.
OG Coop, because he's in here too.
On parents, wondering if that's the choice of what their kids are going to watch. Like, I'm just thinking of all the stuff I was watching. I don't think my mom has any idea. Like, my mom does not know about me falling asleep and waking up at HBO was on at 3 o'clock in the morning and what I saw. Like we all know what happened.
You saw that tweet that was like HBO Max needs to put up all the HBO late stuff so we can watch it without our hand on the last button.
Wait, that's like HBO Max?
But see, like that's like
I tweeted that and I was dying laughing.
That's like falling asleep to Cartoon Network, and then Adult Swim is on at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and all them crazy shows are on. Like you just watch like, all right, I have no idea what's going on here. Like that's some of the craziest things to wake up to.
HBO was worse though.
Oh, HBO is far worse. HBO is far worse. But see, like here's the thing about Adult Swim. Like those writers that are on Adult Swim are like basically I feel like it's the Nickelodeon writers. And I think the Nickelodeon writers are taking their offshoots that didn't make Adult Swim to Nickelodeon and they made all those shows in the 2000s, like Ren and Stimpy and stuff. Like whatever didn't make it to Adult Swim went on to Nickelodeon, and somehow that got a pass.
I think it would be dope to see cartoons that we loved as children come back, and now either the characters have developed or they're just using the same characters as they are then, but they have more adult tones. Not that they weren't adult before, but turn it up a notch and then have those shows.
So I got this movie pitch for, I call it St. Elmo's Fire, where it's like that movie St. Elmo's Fire about post-college disillusionment, except in St. Elmo's Fire, you use the Tiny Toons, and like the Tiny Toons have grown up and they have just gotten through their careers and it's not what they thought it was. And the bar is named St. Elmo's Fire because it's named after Elmer Fudd after he passed.
Ah.
That's hot.
I can dig it.
I would watch that.
You know what? You just reminded me of something I didn't shout out. Teen Titans. I didn't shout that show out, but oh my God, I love that show on Cartoon Network.
Episode when they were talking about spicy, like sriracha and how great spicy food is, and Robin was like, get with it.
Teen Titans was great.
He dropped 1 grain of salt one
little right now
on a potato and lost it. I
feel like
the freaking white and black people were in that writer's room crying when they wrote.
So the funny thing is, Coop was talking about Teen Titans and Imani was talking about Teen Titans Go, but I've enjoyed both.
Oh, okay.
No, because I actually be teasing my dad. My dad is not as Robin bad. My dad doesn't use a lot of seasoning, and since that episode, I'd be like, "You're like Robin and Teen Titans Go. You feel a drop of salt over."
Oh, I'm also going to shout out the Clone Wars animated TV show and Rebels because that I count those too. Even though those are CG animation, I count them. I count them and their value. I mean, I like a lot of the things that are the subtle lessons that are taught through the Clone Wars and through Rebels. For me, especially coming back and watching it as an adult.
Can I just say that I thought Ben 10 was fire, and I don't know why they kept switching it up. Like
I always felt like Ben 10 was like a Yu-Gi-Oh knockoff.
How, Sway?
Or Digimon.
How, Sway?
I don't know, cause like I don't know. That's just how I felt. I didn't like it that much.
But
I don't even know what that is. Benton.
He's a kid, and he has a watch called the Omnitrix that has the DNA of a bunch of aliens, so he can transform into different aliens. That's his superpower.
We got to shout out Pokemon.
The aliens had different powers, so depending on what problem he had to solve, he would pick a different alien. And there were
but
3.
Man always turn into what he picked.
Shout out to
3 times he'd be like forearms, and the watch would be like gray matter.
Yeah.
I got to shout out Samurai Jack too.
Yes.
Nah, I renounced Samurai Jack for the ending. Like that
I don't think I saw the ending.
Oh, don't be good where you are.
All right. Did they Game of Thrones it?
Yeah, I'll tell you the ending because it like makes no sense. It's very high up there on my worst endings list, and I didn't watch Game of Thrones. So like they time skip Jack 50 years into the future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So keep in mind, Jack has been in the future for more than 50 years. He was like maybe 20 when he got flung into the future, and he left his country when he was 8. So like he spent 8 years in like his Japan type country, spent another 10 traveling the world, came back. Spent 50 years in the future. And you know what this man does at the end? He goes back to the past.
As an old man?
Screw this place that I spent most of my life in. I'm going to go chase this dream from when I was 8 years old. And I'm like, nothing in the show made me believe that he was actually going back to try to change the past. Even in the last episode, up to the last episode, you don't think that's what's going to happen. Because this man even found love. And you're like, you ain't going to leave love. He said, deuces, be Aku with ease with the sword. And I was like, okay, what was the point of this whole thing?
Yeah. Also,
America chose back to go to the Jim Crow era.
Basically.
Shout out to Recess.
Yes.
Saturday mornings.
Yes. Shout out to Recess. Yes, sir. That was a great one. What? Oh yeah, I was gonna shout out all the DC and Marvel animation from the 90s.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Shout out to Batman the animated series. Loved it.
True.
I won't hate on that.
Yeah, no, it's in this weird spot where like it's definitely rated very highly and is definitely top 5 animated superhero shows. It's not at my top. And so, like, because it's at most people's top at a thing, I feel like similar to the Batman conversation, where it's like it's a Batman versus Iron Man thing, but really, I'm just here to like crap on Bruce Wayne. That's how I feel about Batman the animated series. It's very solid, definitive version of Mr. Freeze, origin of Harlequin. I just think there's better. Which, by the way, Young Justice is it. Young Justice is like the best.
I have heard a lot. People have always said that about Young Justice. I've heard a lot of people speak highly of Young Justice, even though it was off the air for a while. Is it back?
I don't think it is.
Did The Lion King rule your pre-K kindergarten years? Yes.
That is a great question.
I was 2 when Lion King came out. Another one of those early memories I have is when Lion King came out on VHS. I would watch The Lion King quite literally every night before I went to bed. I would get all the way to the part after the elephant graveyard scene, and then my dad would be all, Zazu, take Nala home. And we would act out the Great Kings of the Past scene all the way through, and nobody messes with your dad. And I would pass out on my couch, and then my dad would carry me into my room, and I'd go to sleep and wake up the next morning. Then the following night, repeat till like first grade.
That is awesome. That's a great story.
I don't remember The Lion King as a child too much, but The Lion King 2 had more of an impact on me, and I will sing Deception.
I was about to say the songs in Lion King 2 were better than The Lion King 2.
For me, no, Lion King was definitely huge for me growing up. But now I have I don't know if I have the same reference for it, because I realized that Disney could have at the same time made an African centric super animated show with, instead of the animals, but had like a legitimate kingdom with humans and done the same thing, and it would have been for me just as impactful, and it would have been a Hallmark series for them too if they were about that life back then.
So Lion King is considered Hallmark, even though the thing that makes it Hallmark is in the air, because that's supposed to be Disney's first original film.
Yeah,
where like did it and use an old story and adapt it. The gray area is whether or not you believe they were inspired by Kimba, and
definitely inspired by Kimba.
I do too. I feel like they should just admit it. Like they don't have to, because it's a different enough where it's a different thing. But they'd be like, hey, yo, yeah, we watched that and we thought it was cool and did our own thing with it.
Yeah. They probably have to come up out some bread though.
They got enough. They got enough bread.
One thing
they got plenty.
They got plenty.
That's true.
Disney stopped a man from putting Spider-Man on his child's grave.
Hey, that's wild.
Yeah, and they've done a lot of that with Star Wars too, because before that acquisition, Lucasfilm and Disney, especially George Lucas, would promote a lot of fan-made content, and you had a lot of free use over the names and characters and the music and like everything within the Star Wars universe to create your own like fan-made films. And Disney is like,
ideas. Don't give your ideas away for free.
Yeah, Disney has put a lot of a stoppage on that. Well, a lot of roadblocks. You can do it, but it's a lot more difficult to do so now than it was back when it was still an independent studio. But yeah, I think
they love Spider-Man so much they wanted to put him on his grave, and Disney said no.
Correct.
That's wild.
Actually, I think he put him on the grave, and Disney made them remove it.
Disgraceful.
Yes. Disney is stingier than Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, because Disney just trying to throw bread to fill the void. They just trying to catch the kid show wave. So yeah. I think that's what they was out for.
And I think we can call it there, guys. We're actually over 2 hours.
Ooh.
2 hours and 3 minutes.
Shout out X-Men too.
Yeah, shout out to the animated series?
Animated series.
Mostly a blur to me.
One of the best intro music.
That's not a blur to me.
If there are any shows that we did not mention, definitely hop onto the Discord and chop it up with us. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, appreciate everybody for showing up. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you have not. And also, please share this video with your friends. This is Gumbo. This is episode 3 of the Cookout, and we are signing off.
Good night, guys.